everyone, I'm your host Neha and you're tuned into Durian Dreaming, the show that brings you extraordinary stories from seemingly ordinary experiences in Indonesia's fast-paced market. Let's dive into today's conversation with another inspiring guest. India and Indonesia shares a relationship which is built on culture, on history, on business, and growing global influence. Today, we have a very special guest with us who is at the front row of building that partnership and strengthening it. Please welcome His Excellency Mr. Sandeep Chakravorty, the Indian Ambassador to Indonesia. Hello, Mr. Chakravorty. Welcome to the podcast Durian Dreaming.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us, sir.
Thank you, Neha. Happy to be on your show.
Pleasure, sir. So, sir, Indian Foreign Services is a highly competitive exam and a very sought-after career path. So, what inspired you first to take this exam and represent India to the world? Okay.
To be very frank, I never planned that way, and some of the best things in life happen due to accidents. Who was under a lot of family pressure to write the civil service examination.
Okay.
But he realized he could not do it on his own, so he pulled me along with him, and he made me write the exam along with him. And of course, he was never interested.
Yeah.
But when I started preparing, I quite enjoyed the whole process. Okay. Most of the fun is in the journey. So I really enjoyed the process. And I never expected to clear it, but I cleared it to my delight, and I was very happy to be allotted the foreign service. I tell everyone that if I get another chance, I would again be an Indian diplomat.
It's a very difficult test.
Yeah, and it has got, I think, more difficult with time. And I don't know if you've seen this film called 12th Fail.
Yes, yes.
So I watched that movie, and I am not a very emotional person, but I was moved to tears watching that film. Because I could identify with that process, the struggle, appointments and the struggle, and hanging around with friends and sleepless nights. So I was very much, part of that, and I could very much relate to that film very much.
Yeah.
And I was writing my kind of a memoir of my diplomatic journey.
Okay.
Not about diplomacy, but how I became a diplomat and what interesting things life has thrown at me.
Yeah.
So seeing the film, I decided to call my book 12th Pass, because I didn't fail in 12th, I passed 12th, very badly rather. But I was never a very good student. But I think in life, success is not always because of your grades or where you studied or where you were born. It is a series of accidents and people you meet on the way.
On the way. Most people picture ambassadors' life as attending fancy receptions with a glass of champagne probably in their hand. But the work that goes behind is far more complex, fascinating, and maybe challenging. So what does a typical week actually look like for an Indian ambassador to Indonesia?
Let's say the ambassador of India to Indonesia would mean meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
Companies, politicians, ministers, keeping abreast of what's happening in the country. So my day starts with reading the newspaper. I still read the old-fashioned way, the newspaper.
Okay.
And then catching up on news on social media.
Okay.
And understand what's happening in India, understand what's happening in Indonesia and global. So some part of the day goes in understanding that.
Okay.
Then plan my day, meet my team, meet a lot of people, then follow up on activities that we think will push India and Indonesia together.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say today after I go back, I'm meeting a team of people with whom we are planning a literary festival with Indonesia.
Okay.
After that, I am meeting someone who has an investor in Indonesia, an Indian company, who have plans for a bigger investments. I'm meeting them. And after that, I will have a team meeting planning for a very high level visit which will take place. So the day is gone.
So pretty much very packed.
Very packed, very packed.
Do you get weekends to yourself, or those are in social obligations?
No, for me in Indonesia, my weekends are the busiest days. I don't actually take break during the weekend, and they are very very busy for me, whether it's Saturday, Sunday. So a diplomat I think works 24/7,
Yeah.
particularly because information travels very fast. Social media is very active, so something or the other, a small crisis or the other, keeps on happening. And my first responsibility is for Indians in Indonesia, people who come here on work or
Yeah.
travel, tourists. If they get into any difficulty, we are the first responders. So one has to
Yeah.
be very alert
Okay.
about what is
What thing?
happening. Yeah.
So, sir, when you are sitting across Indonesian government leaders, what is the feeling that you get knowing the fact that you're representing 1.4 billion Indians in that room?
See, I have been a diplomat for 30 years now. We were always a very big country. I personally feel that in the last 30 years, India has changed a lot. So today, when you represent India, you have much to offer.
Okay.
There is greater deal of respect for India. People are quite impressed by our development story, things that we have done, our IT prowess, our success in many fields, in pharmaceuticals, in our Indian diaspora doing very well globally, even in Indonesia. So there is much to talk about, and also in recent years we have seen a transformation in India. The social sector programs that India is doing, digitalization that is happening, a lot of facilities are being made available to people. So in fact, the leadership tells me here that if something can work for 1.4 billion people in India,
Yeah.
why can't it work for 300 million people in Indonesia? So there is a lot of cross nation transfer of knowledge and information.
Okay.
So I am quite involved in that. It may not look very apparent,
Yeah.
but there is. In fact, for example, I'll give a small example. We have been hearing a lot about the Indonesian stock market.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did was to take Indonesian leaders and people working in the stock market to see our stock market, how it has become so digital and how it has achieved higher levels of transparency, and
Okay.
how the market cap of Indian companies or the liquidity in the stock
Yeah.
market is much much higher. So these are lessons which I think are applicable to Indonesia, and in many areas we find that Indonesian businesses, leaders, politicians want to learn from the Indian experience.
Okay. So when you first arrived in Indonesia, there's so many similarities. And which similarity between the two countries fascinated you the most?
Well, you see, I always say that I feel very much at home in
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Um, there are few realities which are very surprising. For instance, I was aware of the close ties between India and Indonesia even before I came to Indonesia. Unfortunately, I always regretted that my life did not bring me to Indonesia earlier. It has
Okay.
brought me quite towards the end of my career. I should have come here as a tourist or a backpacker, or I would have got fallen in love with the country much before. I found a lot of similarity in culturally,
Okay.
how we approach issues, how we tackle problems, how food habits are very similar,
Yeah.
and also there is similarity in language. In fact, the language the similarities has prevented me from learning Bhasa, because somehow I feel that I know the language and I have not made a serious effort to learn Bhasa. But when somebody utters a sentence of Bhasa, I am able to pick out lots of words, and
Yeah.
then I can figure out what has been saying.
Okay.
But there are important differences also. Something for Indians to learn is that people are very patient. What should I say? The rush is not there.
Right.
People are calm and they are patient. People don't talk loudly. They are very soft. It's not only learning from India, but also a lot of learnings from Indonesia. How this country has managed the, and peace is
Yeah.
there. People live in harmony, and there's a lot of religious diversity. The diversity in Indonesia is very similar to what we encounter in India. It's
Okay.
easy to say that it's the largest Muslim country in the world, but even within that group, I think there's a lot of cultural diversity. And Indonesia takes pride in its past, takes pride in the fact that they have evolved from let's say last 2000 years, how the country has
Yeah.
changed. And there was a Hindu Buddhist empire here, then Islam came here.
Yeah.
And but I find there's a great deal of coexistence and acceptance of the past and the history, which I think is quite amazing.
You know, so because of so much similarity, and like you rightly pointed out, it also makes it very easier to settle in that country, in this country. So as more Indians are settled outside, how can they balance their loyalty to the adopted country while staying true to India and the roots?
Yeah, this is a challenging question, but my suggestion always has been that if you have taken or adopted the nationality of another country, then your first loyalty is to that country. You should be loyal to the country which has given you your passport. So if you have stayed here 20 years and you have become an Indonesian, then you are an Indonesian. Your other attributes may be Indian. You see, there are Indonesian Indians here who have been 100 years. The big families,
Yeah.
the film cinema families, and many of them, the Medan people and Tamilians, they were from India, but it's in the past. They are today Indonesians, and I think the loyalty has to be to Indonesia. The fact that they have they have Indian roots adds to the diversity of this place. It adds to the cultural richness of this place. It adds to Indians being a community amongst the many communities in Indonesia. But I think they are first Indonesians, and I think it is important to understand that, because that will enable Indians who are Indonesians to integrate more with Indonesia, to get into the mainstream, to aspire for high office.
Okay.
We would have a person like Kamala Harris here. So Kamala Harris has Indian roots, but she's an American. Her royalty is to America.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that people of Indian origin rise to high office.
And what role does Indian diaspora plays in strengthening the ties between the two countries?
Oh, I think enormous. Lots of the success that we have been able to achieve in terms of building the relationship, bringing the two countries close together. A lot of credit goes to the diaspora, and they play an important role. And but the Indian diaspora here is institutional memory. So when I sit with them, I learn about so many things. I get a dose of concentrated dose of history in a capsule. So I really value the role of the Indian diaspora, and there also I benefited a lot from their counsel, their advice, their connections, their networking. And I think for an ambassador, I am very privileged, for instance, and lucky that in Indonesia we have such a diaspora, very eminent people. But we also have Indians who came here 100 years back, and they're as Indonesian as anybody. Many of them don't even speak any of the Indian languages. Their first language is actually Bhasa. Very, very helpful. And they believe that if the India-Indonesia ties become closer, it's validation for them also.
Bollywood is very popular here as well. And Shah Rukh Khan has some decent fan following. Have you ever used Bollywood as a tool for diplomatic ties?
I was meeting a former ambassador of India to Indonesia, Mr. Sham Saran, who was here in the early 2000s. And he was able to get Shah Rukh Khan here. And I have heard stories of how there was almost riot in this city. And every conversation with any Indonesian leader, sometimes starts with Shah Rukh Khan. And when President Prabowo went to India, and I still remember very vividly that the Rashtrapati Bhavan asked me, there's a band there which plays during the banquet, and what music to play. So I said, you should play Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And after the speeches were over, all the media had left. The band started playing Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And listening to that, 3 ministers got up and they went to the band and picked up the mic and started singing Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And there was no media in the room because it was not expected.
Yeah.
And I was sitting and I had the presence of mind to take out my mobile phone,
Yeah.
and I started taking the video. And in the meantime, then they called the cameras and all, and
Yeah.
and it was a sensation.
But this is
You know,
fantastic.
everybody was so impressed, and Foreign Minister Sugiono sings "Ye Kuch Kuch Hota Hai" very well. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes, yeah. And then the media got after me that I was the only person who got the initial part. So the video which became viral by ANI, the initial part is mine from my camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will see people sitting there because I was sitting at the banquet, and it was not a proper professional video, but that was the only video which was available. So um, I think it's a very good bonding piece, and not only Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I have heard even you know, once an Indian ship came and there was a Indonesian admiral. He started singing Hathi Mera Sathi. He says, when I was a child, my mother used to sing Hathi Mera Sathi.
Oh, so it goes that
It
back,
goes
the connect.
that back.
Yeah.
That back, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It goes that back. And I was just remembering an anecdote that you know, Mr. Bakri, who used to own ANTV,
Yeah.
he says that because of Mahabharata and Ramayana, Mahabharata I think, which they ran, the TV channel made profits, you know, and you know, the Mahabharata actors actually came to Indonesia and got a lot of business. They started acting in the Indonesian serials and this Cinetron.
Oh,
so there has been a great deal of influence. Even today it persists, but I think it's not making so much news because other cultural influences have also come up. You see Korean music, pop, series. So it's not a question of competition. I think it's a question of phases also.
Okay.
You know, maybe the Bollywood phase is not so strong now, and maybe Korean and other cultural influences are there. But there is a strong underlying presence of Indian cinema in Indonesia.
In Indonesia.
Yeah,
So are young Indian and Indonesians connecting with each other, maybe through social media or tech? And what more can be done to make that happen faster?
there is substantial trade between the two countries. Okay.
Okay.
But what I feel is the economic integration between two countries. When an Indian entrepreneur wants to, let's say, globalize, he or she should think of Indonesia. Will my product or service that I am producing, will it succeed in Indonesia?
Okay.
Is that thinking there in Indian entrepreneurs? I don't think that is there. Unless we reach that stage, I don't think that, you know, we are able to exploit the potential that is there. This is the fourth largest country in the world: India, China, USA, and Indonesia. It is high per capita income, youngest country in the region, and lots going for it. So, you know, it still in India it still doesn't register in the initial response of an Indian entrepreneur, Indian businessman. I think that is work to be done. Similarly, when an Indonesian company or an Indonesian organization is looking at technology or you know, opportunities, they may in fact go further beyond India to maybe the Gulf or Europe or USA.
So, sir, are Indian and Indonesians actively learning from each other, especially in fintech space? And is there any collaboration between the two countries which you are particularly proud of?
Into Indonesia, there are many other fintech companies who work very closely with India. There is Flip is there. Then some of our work has been quiet and under the radar. Many of the banking technologies, digital payment technologies have Indian origin. India is not like USA or Europe where whatever we sell, it's branded. Ours are, most products are white label. In many of the Indonesian companies also, you will find Indians working, head or technology head or information head, because, you know, we are able to install the processes here. We are working on integration of QRIS with UPI.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that has reached an advanced stage.
Okay.
And hopefully we will be able to launch it soon. So if you have a Indian UPI app, you can scan it here and pay, and an Indonesian traveling to India can use the QRIS app to pay. We have also working on local currency settlement, which is that we can use rupiah and rupee to settle bills. Okay, that you
Okay.
don't have to use hard currency. That MOU has been signed. We are almost about to implement that. So these are one or two things where I feel we have moved ahead. And another thing which we are trying to do is launch Indonesia Open Network, which is India's open network for digital commerce. So it will be a kind of a disruptor
Okay.
here, allowing small companies to transact and do e-commerce on an open network. So that is
Okay.
something which is now in the works, and very soon we will be able to launch those things. So
With the tensions growing in the Middle East because of the war, both India and Indonesia, they played it calm, not taking any sides, not escalating the matter. Do you think there's a similar approach between the two nations when it comes to conflicts and war?
you know policy of strategic autonomy, or which is I think an evolution of the initial non-aligned concept. Non-aligned may have been a more passive concept, but strategic autonomy is India playing a role, but at its own terms and understanding what is good for our national interest. Similarly, Indonesia has bebas and active, as president says, 1,000 friends too less and one enemy too many. That policy I think is very, very similar, how we want to have good ties with everybody.
Okay.
Many say that it cannot succeed, but I think India is a good example where we have succeeded. We have in the Gulf good ties with UAE, Saudi, and Iran, and we have good relations with all global powers, and with Southeast Asia. So I think this is something where India and Indonesia have similarity,
Okay.
and we understand each other, and our responses are also very similar.
Okay.
The way we responded to the war in Ukraine, or the way we are responding to the war in the Gulf, I think you will find a lot of similarities.
So tell me something, in a region which is backed by US and China or shaped by US and China, how does India and Indonesia stay collaborative in such an environment?
There are two dominant powers in the world. If we don't collaborate, then we run the risk of gravitating towards both or either power.
So recently in the news, I read that Indonesia is planning to buy BrahMos missiles from India. How do you see this strategic partnership evolving in the next few years?
I think defense has been an important area of cooperation. We are neighbors, sometimes we don't realize, but the Indian land is only 160 kilometers from Sumatra.
Yeah.
And we don't realize it, but we are maritime neighbors. We are very, very close. We share the same maritime space, and our airspace and everything overlaps. So we need to be working more on our defense, particularly our navies, coast guard. They need to work more closely together. We have frequent visits of ships and exercises, and military to military exchanges. India was not a major manufacturer of defense equipment, but now we have become. And I think we will see more and more Indian defense industry presence in Indonesia, because Indonesia is also trying to build its own defense industry. And I think the Indian example is suitable for Indonesia, where after some effort we have been able to produce defense equipment in the country. So we have a lot of discussions going on, and you will find more and more collaboration in this.
Indonesia hosted G20 in 2022. And then soon after, India hosted in 2023. Do you think having this G20 summit back to back in these two countries brought the countries together? And do you think the momentum of this collaboration will continue?
No, India played a big role to ensure the success of G20 in Indonesia, because you see at that time the war had started.
Yeah.
So we collaborated a lot with Indonesia to make sure that the Bali Declaration came out, and then Indonesia supported in our presidency, and so there has been long-standing cooperation in the G20 framework. And now Indonesia has become member of BRICS. We will see the visit of President Prabowo to India for the BRICS summit in September.
Okay.
So BRICS again is another bond that has been created between India and Indonesia. So of course G20, and then they provide an opportunity for leaders to meet. So not only what happens in that framework, but on the sidelines the leaders meet, and it provides an opportunity for our leaders to meet.
How is Indian government promoting Indian culture in Indonesia? So it could be whether through yoga, through wellness, through food.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Yoga is very much accepted and practiced in Indonesia. There are so many yoga centers, schools, and it's quite a movement. We are going to celebrate International Day of Yoga on 21st of June.
Okay.
A big celebration in Surabaya and Semarang. Thousands of people will gather. And then on 28th of June, we will be having a mega celebration in Untold. You see, about cultural diplomacy, we are trying to do things which are slightly off the beaten track, in the sense that we are trying to understand the cultural, threads that bind us.
Okay.
I'll give you one example, that in 1927,
Yeah.
Tagore came to Indonesia. I believe that amongst all his foreign travels, Indonesia influenced him the most. And he wrote a book about his travels in Indonesia. He sent his close aides back to Indonesia to study Indonesian art, architecture, and one of the things that he took from Indonesia was batik. So he set up a batik workshop in Shantiniketan, and that batik workshop is still active.
Okay.
And you will be surprised that when Prime Minister Modi went to Sweden, he was given some letters written by Tagore to Prime Minister. And the gift that my Prime Minister gave to the Swedish Prime Minister was a batik leather bag made in Shantiniketan.
Oh, wow.
So I have actually borrowed that concept, and starting this year we are going to celebrate 100 years of Tagore to Indonesia and build around that lot of activities.
Okay.
One such thing will be a fusion between Balinese, Javanese and Manipuri dance. If you see Manipuri dance, you will find a lot of similarity between Balinese and Javanese dance and Manipuri. Now how? Because the Jhaveri sisters, who actually popularized and contributed so much to Manipuri dance, studied in Shantiniketan. And when Tagore saw that, that influence permeated from this route into Manipuri, and he found that there are very similar dance forms. So we are trying to in fact get a troupe from India which will perform a fusion of Balinese, Javanese and Manipuri dance during this year. You will be happy to know our Archaeological Survey of India team visited Rambavan temple, and India is going to work on with the Indonesian government on the restoration of the temple of Rambavan. So it will become a very magnificent temple complex in the coming years.
So sir, are young Indian and Indonesians collaborating with each other, maybe in the tech space, maybe through social media? And what can be done to make this collaboration faster?
We have been always talking of so much commonality, similarity, things happening, but why has it not reached a critical mass, or why? I think one of the factors is that the young people are not interacting to the extent that they should.
They should be.
Students from Indonesia go to India, but the numbers are not huge. Indian students come here, but the numbers are not huge. One big way of achieving what you are saying is educational exchanges.
Yeah.
You see, Indians come to Indonesia in large numbers. Indonesians don't go to India in such large numbers. India could be a very strong medical tourism destination. Our hospitals are very good and very affordable. Talking of educational exchanges, now we are looking at, and other exchanges. We are looking at Indian hospitals in Indonesia. Apollo is coming here, where we are actually working on an Indian education campus here. A major Indian education institution will open a campus in Indonesia. So watch this space.
Okay. And what has Indonesia taught you, like from in terms of people, leadership, that you think you'll carry with you even when this posting ends?
Yeah, you see, first is patience.
Okay.
And I think social cohesiveness, this Gotong Royong that they have, I think this is quite amazing.
Okay.
In the sense that people care for each other, people take care, support each other.
Yeah.
There is lot of social bonding.
Yeah.
There is also very comfortable intermixing of sexes here. Men and women, interact a lot with each other. There are no barriers that way. It may be a very deeply religious society, but I find very good intermixing of sexes, which is an eye opener for me. And also the politics here is very inclusive. There is no very divisive politics in the country. Everybody together, and the opposition and ruling party divide is there only till the elections. Once the elections happen, everybody gets together. I think for a country as diverse and complex as Indonesia, I think it's very, very positive. So there are lots positive happening in Indonesia, but I am very impressed with the patience, with their kindness.
Okay.
People are very welcoming, and the social cohesiveness.
Sure. One question from the community. So when will the direct flight from Jakarta to Delhi start?
I have actually become an expert in aviation. I have done so much of research on this. I am very hopeful. It may need little bit more time, but as Air India acquires more aircraft,
Okay.
and they are coming now, I think we will have the Jakarta-Delhi flight. We will also have maybe Jakarta connected to some other cities in India. But again, as I was saying, in 3 years back, we had no flights to India, and now we have at least one to Jakarta from Bombay, and 4, I think, to Bali. But we need a Delhi-Jakarta flight.
So can we dream for one in this year, or it's a far-fetched plan?
Maybe if not 2026, 2027 perhaps, yeah.
Okay, so this is going on record.
Yeah. I want it to be on record so that we can pressurize the airlines.
So one last question.
Yeah.
Is there any TV series or movie which you think portrays the diplomacy accurately? Or let's just say one of your favorite either TV series or a movie.
Which accurately portrays diplomacy.
Yeah.
There is this series on Netflix called Diplomat, but I don't think that portrays the work of diplomats correctly. And my daughter and wife, when they saw that, they were asking me, "Do you do this in your work?" I don't think we have a series which portrays diplomacy correctly. But there have been some films.
Let's just say diplomatic world, so we get an idea of this is how it operates.
There was a film on one of our colleagues, JP Singh, who rescued a lady from Pakistan. That film is actually based on a real story.
Yeah, I remember.
But you see, most of the diplomacy is done behind the scenes. So it's very difficult to capture, what diplomats do and how they work, and a lot of things are left unsaid.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you so much for a very...
to be on your show.
Likewise, thank you so much for a very candid conversation.
Thank you.
A sneak peek into the diplomatic world and talking about some of the projects which we look forward to. So
Yeah. It is a very happening relationship. Some things have happened, but lots are in the works, and during the course of the year you will get to see things coming out, things that I have spoken today becoming reality.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. And that's a wrap for this episode of Durian Dreaming. I hope today's discussion sparked some new ideas for you. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts, and stay tuned for more exciting stories. Until next time, keep dreaming big.